Hey, you! Hi. I have a question for you. So, why, for the ones who have the children, why are you lying to your children? Hmm? Why? Why are you lying to them? They grow up, you know. I'm a prime example of a child who has grown up. And, let me tell you something, okay? You tell a child a lie, they're gonna remember that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. You know, 'tis a season to be lying. Liar. Okay, so, this holiday season, you know, some people have honest relationships with the members of their family, with everyone. And there's open communication. That's a fantastic thing. I recommend it. I really recommend being honest and open and communicating, like, you know, phone calls, you know. Anyway, with decent people, okay, people who deserve your voice and your time. But anyway, for the children, this is for the children, okay. Have you ever heard of this creature called Santa? Sandy Claus. There's claws for that, I'm sure. But, Santa Claus. Let's talk about Santa Claus, shall we? Why? Why? Do the adults, they have this thing where they have children, right? Okay? They produce offspring. And, a backstory for you. These adults once were children too. Okay, once upon a time, an adult was a child that was lied to. That child grew up, became an adult, produced children, and then lied to the children again to complete the cycle, to always lie. And so what do we lie to children about? Well, let me tell you something. Children are remarkably resilient and adaptive. That's their thing, okay? They kind of got like this haziness about them, like a baby animal. You can pick them up and stuff. When the baby animal grows up a little bit, then they get all vicious. But children have this natural thing where they're just absorbing information. Okay, they're learning, and because of that, they're adaptive. They can actually like think about things and adapt to circumstances and situations. Adults can't do that. Okay, adults are particular. Adults are all traumatized and like set in their ways and everything. The adults do not adapt. Okay, and so what happens? The adult is around a kid, and the kid's like, well, what did they do? Why is that? And the adults, like, they can't express themselves around a child because it's information. And so the adult's like, oh, this is a complex topic. I can't even deal with it. How can I tell a kid this, you know? So when a kid tells an adult, like, well, what did they do? You know, tell me, what did they do? And so the adult starts lying. Well, oh, they're not so bad. Yeah, they just disappointed me. Okay. No, I mean, the adult tries to word things in a way that a kid can absorb. You know, not too much information, but also like honesty. A real adult would be honest. It's like, well, hey, they severely disappointed me because they promised me something and then they never followed through with that, and they're a chronic liar. And that's what they did. But anyway, children. Okay. There's this epidemic of adults lying to children. Okay. And I would like for you to stop with the lying, because that would be nice. the moment you lie to a child, that child will remember it forever, and that will resent you, and it will grow up and be like me, and will never trust parents ever again, and it will constantly rebel against parents. My parents don't exist in my reality. They're alive, technically, maybe. I don't know. But, I'm not around them, because they lied. Okay, they were abusive too, but, theme's lying, alright? Once upon a time, they told me that the pets at the pound, okay, where you get the pets, where they collect all the pets, they keep them at this place called the pound, okay? The animal shelter. And so, I asked, what happens to the pets that don't get chosen by the humans? And they said, well, they go to sleep. They put them to sleep. Okay. I'm a child at this point in time. To me, I think sleep is sleep. And adults have a different word for that, and never mind. So as a kid, I'm thinking they collect all these animals, these unwanted animals, and they put them in a cryostasis chamber, like, Fallout 4, where you're frozen for 200 years. I thought they took the pets and they put them to sleep in these cryopods for whenever the humans wanted the pet to be alive. They would just reanimate them because they were sleeping. Okay? No. Sleep wasn't sleep. Sleep was death. They kill the animals, so there's more room for other animals to come in, because there's an overpopulation problem, and there's too many pets. And so, to deal with that problem, they have to kill the animals that aren't going to find homes. There's no space for them. They gotta make room. They gotta kill the animals. That is the honesty. That is the truth of this situation. And so, all these adults are like, oh no, they just put them to sleep. And so what happens? The kid thinks that there's these cryo chambers in all these animal facilities, and that, because the kid's aware of the whole spade and neuter thing to not make more pets. So the kid's thinking like, oh, well, eventually the pets are gonna run out, okay, because they're not breeding anymore. So then we can awaken the cryopod chambered pets and find a home for them, because then there's more humans in the future, right? And we got a human problem too. But anyway, so, what was I saying? So, one of these children thinks they pick up a pet, right? And so they bring it back home, and then you have a pet in your house. And so, and eventually, years from that point in time, hopefully, then that pet dies, okay? So what do the adults say? The adults tell the children, oh, we're just taking the pet to the farm. So this kid, this poor child, is thinking of cryostasis chambers for the unwanted pets, and the farm, the lovely farm that they don't ever get to visit their loving pet at. It's just the pet's off at the farm, okay? You have a fish, alright? The fish dies, because fish are incredibly unstable creatures. They die all the time. And so, what happens? Well, the parent's like, oh no, I can't have the death around the child. I have to lie. I have to keep the secret. And so you take the fish out, you get another one, and then what does the kid think? Well, the kid thinks the fish lives forever now. And because it keeps on being replaced, it's like, this is my favorite fish. It's been with me for 5 years, when normally it like dies in 1 year or something, if it can survive that long. But yeah, so like you can't get the perfect fish. So say this new fish has like a spot on it, or maybe 3-4 spots on it, And so this kid's like, it grew spots. My fantastical fish can grow spots. And my old animals are on a farm in the cryostasis for the unwanted pets. And so what happens? And the holidays happen, okay? It's a time of coldness and winter, and everybody's like huddled up by the fire trying to stay warm and thinking about hope, the light in the darkness that should be there. But yeah, families are always grumpy and everything. But anyway, and so, you know, it's a time of coming together because it's so cold, and you huddle together. People get sick that way, but anyway, the thing is, it's a time of warmth in the darkness. You got the home, the hearth. That's the fire. In your fireplace, that's the hearth of the home, and that's the heart of the home. And so what do people do? Well, because they come together, they bring gifts, and they're like, oh, well, I haven't seen you in 20 years, and here's the gift. And like every year, you know, family, friends, strangers, they come together during these tough, difficult times, at least they're supposed to, and then they bring gifts, okay? They share from the love and the generosity of their heart. And so what happens when you give someone a gift? Well, they're thankful for it. It's nice and not manipulative or just bought for social reasons, just to yell at people later, like the whole commercialism thing. But whatever. So imagine like a loving family, and you know, they share gifts and everything, and so that strengthens the bonds, right, of your family situation, dynamic friend thing, and gifts, interaction, and so, you know, every year you're like, oh, well, I want to celebrate something. If it's their birthday, it's a special event, it's an anniversary, it's a holiday, you know, I'll give a gift to someone, and hopefully, you know, you're not doing the commercialism, you buy all the gifts that mean nothing. You know, you do it from the heart, you actually want to gift people. It's, you know, this season, 'tis a season to give and get and whatever. I didn't experience that, but anyway, yeah, so children in the holidays, in this commercialism, what do the parents do? What do the parents do? They instead of saying, hey, this came from me, I got you all this, they make up this creature, okay? This sand creature with claws, and it's like this Krampus thing, you know, invaded our territory at night, okay? It crawled down the chimney, and then it went into the living room and ate our food, and then it was just like staring at you. Apparently it has telepathy because it knows when you're sleeping. It knows when you're awake. And so it's just moving around, you know, eating cookies and everything. And so parents, adults, feel comfortable with telling their little children that this mysterious fat stranger creature with sand and claws invaded their territory, and they didn't do anything to defend or guard, and yet it left gifts. Like a predator. It left gifts for the children, and every adult does this. It's like, no, we didn't give you gifts, we don't love you, no, that wasn't us at all. This sand claw creature, that's the thing that loves you. It's... Come on, man. Why? Why do you do this? You think of how your religion of your Satan, Satan, your religion replaced the paganism because you were apparently you didn't like the pagan rituals, and so you create this sandy claw creature to give gifts to children. And that's not like a sacrificial thing. You're sitting your children on the laps of fat men in shopping malls. Okay? Am I the only one who sees something wrong with that? Like, what are you doing? Okay, for the children, please. Santa isn't real. Alright, at least he shouldn't be. Krampus, Santa Claus, it's, why do you want to set your children on the laps of fat men? Okay? I don't like that dynamic. It's, you shouldn't either. A home is something you should guard and protect, and you're saying, oh, this intruder came in last night, we weren't aware. They left presents for you, that's fine. Like any other predator. It's... You're conditioning your children to accept that. Do you not understand that? Do you not see that? It's been going on for thousands of years, and you're all about like not sacrificing your kids. Well, this is a sacrifice kind of thing. Like, it's disturbing, and that's why I'm making this video as a chaotic jester, to tell you, the sandy claw creature is a toxic dynamic for society, and that's me telling you. Okay, why do you do this to the children? So what does this do? Okay, you're a kid, and you're believing in Santa Claus. You're believing a fat guy loves you more than your parents do, and that he's only around once a year. You start riding to the North Pole because your parents told you to, because your parents are too much of cowards to actually say I love you. Here's a gift for you, child. I love you. It's because I am your provider, and I am providing a gift in a loving, happy home full of protection and security. We don't let the strangers just come in and eat our food and know when you're sleeping and everything. It's so the child that thinks Santa Claus exists is all hoping for Santa every year, and then what happens? They go to school, and the only thing they learn there is the other kids saying Santa's not real. And then so they naturally rebel. Yeah, he is. And then they try to capture Santa. It's a classic childhood thing. And when they don't do that, then there's the despair. But then sometimes the parents they lie to their children for years and years and years. And then one year they're like, they're old enough. What do you mean, Santa? What are you talking about? Santa's not real. Aren't you old enough? Last year Santa was real. I mean, come on. You're lying. You're lying to them. They're going to resent you for that. Oh gosh. Like, at least I'm intelligent, and I knew my parents were lying the moment they lied to me. I didn't fall for the Santa thing. Apparently I became one, but anyway. The Easter Bunny thing. The Easter Bunny thing. So, the stupid, toxic adults, would make us make the eggs, right? And then they would, say, okay, go away, children. Go away, dumb kids. And then they'll you know, in between their many cigarette toxic smoke breaks. So, oh gosh, just remembering that. terrible. Anyway, so they take the eggs that you spent like hours making, okay, and then they go hide them, and then they come back and say, "Okay, kids, the Easter Bunny's been here." How dumb do you think we are? Like, come on. I mean, gosh, even the adults call other adults naive sometimes, but this is on a whole different level. Like, to go outside and then come back in, like, talk about gaslighting. It's no, we weren't the ones sitting with you for hours making these eggs. No, it was the Easter Bunny that came into our yard again. Knows where we live, and hid all these special things for you to find. Let me tell you something. Okay, you cowards. Listen. Alright. If you're a parent, if you're some sort of child entertainer thing, maybe you're the sibling or whatever, actually create a memorable moment of love and interaction. It's like, I'm going to go hide these things for you to find. It's a game. And then that will create and establish a bond of trust and honesty. And then, like, with the whole winter thing, it's not like, I want this, I want that from Santa. It's like, well, we can't afford this. I got you this. You know, there's still that bond. It's not like this greedy Santa commercialism thing. It's like, oh, well, we can't afford that. I trust my parental figure, the provider, to get what I need at this time in this winter season so I don't die. That's just a general statement. I don't trust that at all from my current situation, but it's just, you can have a bond with your children by not lying to them. Okay, they'll trust you if you actually don't just blame everything on Santa or the Easter Bunny. You don't willingly lie to them immediately. You tell them about death, okay? Things die. They need to understand that. And then there's religion, okay? These lies don't just stop with Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny. I mean, there's religion too. The only difference is, you know, you kind of get burned alive if you say you don't believe in religion. So, you know, that's just the same thing. The adults grew up and they still believed. Like these kids, they're still gonna believe in Santa if no one tells them differently. They're still gonna believe in the Easter Bunny if everybody says it's the Easter Bunny again. I mean, you don't attend to your kid's psychological development, then things are gonna happen. The Tooth Fairy, okay? You know, we just think about all the lies that you tell your children, okay? Like, first of all, the kid's gonna wake up. The kid pretends it's asleep, and it knows you're exchanging the things and everything. And then there's the other side of this where you're a kid and all the other kids have parents who lie to them, but you're a kid in an abusive household that and you see through all the lies and everything, and so while you're a child, you know, all the other kids believe in these things, in the Santas, in the Easter Bunnies, and the what else is there? Tooth Fairies, whatever. And in the farms, in the cryostasis pods. And you have to wait till they grow up. And then sometimes you have to be that kid to educate the other kids. And then it's just a whole toxic dynamic. Yeah, it's not nice. And then there's sex. Okay? And there's sex. Adults typically are very uncomfortable with this topic. and so they pretend sex doesn't exist, and they're like, oh no, they're just hugging. Okay, let's not watch that, or whatever. And then what happens? They never educate their children about sex, and then suddenly they got the puberty age, and they're like, yeah, they're old enough, and they're bombarded with all the sexual content, and they have no idea what to do with it. They get traumatized, they get triggered, and then the parents are just sitting there watching that, and last you knew they were just hugging, but now it's not just hugging, it's something different. And so it's that open communication, that education, that the honesty, not the lying. You have to say, like, okay, there's fundamentally different parts that interact in this way, and that's how life is created. I mean, there's kids out there that know that their mothers are pregnant with another child, and that's a healthy dynamic. It's like, oh, that's where the next baby's coming from. And there's other kids out there that don't know anything, and the storks. Yeah, you said that storks delivered the children. That these birds, okay, these mythical creatures, were in charge of delivering all the children. Kind of like the Santa Claus, all these mythical creatures. No, humans don't do anything. Humans, forget about the humans. Let's focus on all these creatures. It's the storks. It was storks. It's see, as an adult you forget about these things, but then as a parent, apparently all the parents start lying to their kids again. Like these people with their children, they're they're new parents and everything, and they're normies, and they're like, oh, Santa, what did Santa get you? And I'm just like, you told them about Santa? You told them about Santa? Like, it's... Why? Why are you doing that? Oh, gosh. Don't lie to your children, okay? They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna resent you, and it's not just like this holiday stuff, it's anything. They need to understand where you're coming from. If you're depressed, if you have some sort of alcohol addiction or something, tell your kid, I get sad a lot, I get depressed, and then your kid will like pat you on the back, and then you'll feel happier, and that will establish a real bond instead of you secluding yourself to go take care of your addiction. But it's... Kids are remarkably resilient, remarkably adaptive, and they deserve the truth. Alright, we as kids are tired of being lied to. We see through everything anyway, and when we don't, then the lie is so much more damaging because it affects so much later on, and the typical normie parent is just gonna say, oh, well, they're old enough, whatever. It changes. It absolutely changes. You go from magical childhood to terrible, traumatizing teenagehood, and that's the real reason why teenagers rebel, because you lied to them as children, and they remember that. They resent you for that. And so, yeah, that's why they're not in your lives anymore, because you told them Santa Claus gave you those presents. But, anyway, I made fun of this, with my grandma, because she's religious, and so I'm like, to Grandma, from Satan, and, yeah, well, I was laughing, but anyway, that's what I have to do. So, the message to you is to respect your children, okay? You don't want children that grow up defective in the head because they're waiting on the tooth fairy for their dental problems because you yelled at them to brush their teeth, but you never told them why, okay? I thought it was cosmetic reasons, okay? I'm like, okay, well, I got an underbite, right? So I don't need these perfect teeth. So I didn't listen to my parents. They're always yelling at me, so they're like, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. They didn't explain why. And so, a lot of dental issues throughout my childhood. While other kids were playing, I was at the dentist. And, and it got worse when I got older. Because then, I couldn't afford it on my own. There was, like, specific child dental funds that helped with them. But, these abusive parents should have been paying for all of my dental problems because they're the ones who yelled at me. But no, I had to do it. The only income that I ever earned for myself went to my teeth, all because my parents didn't provide an explanation. And so it just further makes me suffer. So, that's my message to you for the holiday season, to not lie to your children. If you're going through some sort of emotional, social dynamic, just, you don't need to say every single little detail, but you can summarize it and say, oh, well, I trusted someone and they betrayed me and I'm sad. And they'll understand that. So, yeah. That's what you gotta do, is actually be a good parent, be a good teacher, be a good caretaker, There's so many lies we tell children. There's so many lies we tell the children. I'm trying to think of others. I don't interact with children, so, yeah. And I'm not used to lying, so I don't know. What do the adults lie about the children? About, there's addictions, there's, social dynamics. Huh. You ever hear of milk? I heard some people try to go get milk and they never come back. So, there's that one. I don't know. Maybe this will just be a short little reminder to not lie to your children. Because it fosters a healthy dynamic between an adult and a child, is when the child can trust the adult to always be honest, to speak their mind, to tell them about death, to explain what sex is, to actually provide a gift instead of saying this fat sand claw creature loves you instead. Like, why? I don't understand that. Just think about what you're doing, okay? Just this is tradition, right? You're doing it because tradition. Analyze your traditions. Think about what you're saying, like these nursery rhymes, just everything about the childhood. Think about it. Is this healthy? Are you going to repeat the cycle? Or are you going to come up with something new, something better, that will actually inspire the children, help the children actually learn and develop and grow and actually be amazing adults? Or are they going to turn out like me? And be like all traumatized and like barely hanging on and no friends, no family, alone and devastated. And then all the other adults in my life lie to me because they're used to being lied to, and so they can't handle their traumas like I can. And so it's just everybody's so fragile and damaged, and that can be avoided with early childhood development skills. So please, when you interact with a child, be honest, communicate. Don't just like say, oh, what did Santa get you? Did you find what the Easter Bunny left for you? And it's like, oh, you knocked your tooth out. You get tooth fairy attention. in the middle of the night. Our home is just open. There's all these monsters and creatures coming just for you, child. It's come on. And you wonder why they have nightmares? Seriously? You wonder why these kids have nightmares and they're calling for you in the middle of the night. I had another bad dream. And what does the adult do? Like, well, toughen up. That's what the adult does. The adult willingly lies to the child and then just like completely 180, just flips it around. Hey, you're old enough. Stop holding on to the stuffed animal because we don't love you. It's just please think about your actions this holiday season, and all the seasons afterwards. It's embarrassing for humanity, and I do hope this tradition eventually dies immediately. It's really unnecessary, and you know, there's only so much space for cryogenic storage. So, you know, anyway, when a kid is raised up with honesty and understanding, that's the thing. The adults, they think the kids can't understand things, so they don't explain anything. The kid's like, well, why? Why is that like that? And the adults just give up, and it's just like, well, because I said so. Well, because it is. Take the time to tell them why. Okay, think about it yourself. If you can't come up with an answer, then it's like, well, I don't know why. That's a stupid reason. That shouldn't happen. That should change, right? Don't just follow traditions. You gotta be better, okay? This is the time of the light and the darkness. You gotta be that light. You gotta be that hope of inspiration, of that education. And you're inspiring the next generation, and you have a responsibility to actually do that right, because whatever you do is going to affect them. Alright? It doesn't just mean your own kids, it's just the next generation. However you act, others are going to see that, they're going to replicate that, and you got a responsibility to be what you want to see in the world, to become the change that is needed, and to inspire that change. So, in these times of attentiveness, you want to share yourself, okay? Like, this gift, this didn't come from the Santa Claus, this came from me to you. And, you know, I thought you would like that, because I know you like art, or you like dinosaurs, and so that's like, oh wow, you're the one who gave me the dinosaurs. It's, you know, not just this creature who knows when you are sleeping, and it's a little creepy. I don't know why everybody does this. Anyway, and then there's God, right? Okay. God knows when you're sleeping and when you're eating, and ever watching everywhere at all times. Like, you're trying to have a private moment in the bathroom, and then you're thinking about God. It's what happens as a child, and you're like, oh, well, now what? It's yeah, well, the adults keep clinging to their religions when there's so much more about spirituality, and it's part of that Santa lie thing. It's the tradition. Well, we don't actually investigate a thing. We're just repeating and rehashing the same thing over and over again to decay civilization, and I don't want that. So I'm trying to inspire you to not do that. Anyway, create your own traditions. Okay, inspire a new generation, a new activity, a new way to be. Okay, please, please. Okay. For the love of it.